Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gold Championship Series. This is day one. Group A, we saw Infi defeating Chaemiko, and now two new challengers await. It is China versus Korea. It is 1-0 versus Chaemiko.
A bit of a rocky start here. We're slightly behind schedule. It may have been a 2-0, but it took quite a while to be a 2-0. In the end, the favorite did prevail, the big favorite. We have a big favorite going up against the underdog once again, 1-0 versus Chaemiko. Here they are.
On the left-hand side, we see the two-time world champion, 1-0, the guy who revolutionized the undead matchup. On the right-hand side, first time offline appearance in a one-on-one competition, it's Chaemiko. Of course, we are supposed to have a translator, by the way. Where is Emoji?
Where's Emoji?
Where is Emoji? You'll see. So, 1-0. He was struggling quite a bit to gather some qualifying points. He was a little lazy, not playing the first one, but in the end he came out strong and didn't even have to play the last qualifier. So he was quite safe with that, ended up on 6th position with 19 points, was quite okay. And yeah, what do we know about him at the moment? We saw he beat Focus and Orc Mirror.
Yes.
That was absolutely sick.
With 4-1.
With 4-1, it wasn't even close, really. But yeah, Chaemiko, what kind of performance can we expect from him? Is he nervous? Kind of looks like it when I see that, but he is one of the rising stars in 2018 in the scene, an aspiring human player, part of A1, living in the team house together with Lawliot, with Sok, Soin, and the others. His game improved so much in the past 15 months, I think. He was on my list for 2017 already.
Yeah. Hipster Neo was a little bit too early.
As always, I came too early. Yeah. But the question is, does he stand a chance against the behemoth that is 1-2-0? Does 1-2-0 care? Really? I mean, everybody can use the money, especially when you're that young as 1-2-0 is. Both actually very young amongst the four youngest players here, that is Live 1-2-0, Colorful, and Chaemiko. 1-2-0, 21 years old, Chaemiko 23 years old, the young guard when it comes to Warcraft 3 players.
Yeah, and 1-0 and Infi both, I think they are pretty confident, to say the very least, in this group. I think even cocky might be the right term. Infi played MK first, which is quite the gamble, into Tinker first. Not something that usually undeads can allow themselves to do. By the way, 1-0 could decide to play Orc here. Could decide to play undead in other matches. People were speculating about this. For Infi, he did stick to human so far. Do you think there is a possibility of 1-0 or Infi switching races at some point? I mean, if you do it in the group stage, right?
Well, you can always do it as a surprise. Not too many people know 1-0 was an Orc before. He started his big reign as the Undead King back when he was called Terra. WCA 2014, for example, was one of those instances. But yeah, since he switched the race, his rise is just phenomenal. I would suggest that 1-0 plays Orc against Human, maybe? I don't know, though. He doesn't really seem to like that matchup too much, as we saw in the qualifier grand final versus Focus. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, against Human especially.
Against Orc, I mean, of course.
Against Human especially, though, 1-0, I don't remember which interview it was. It was quite a while ago where he blatantly stated, yeah, if I play against Undead or Night Elf, should be pretty easy to go. You know, Human and Orc is going to be a little bit tougher. Yeah. That was quite a while ago. Then, of course, the infamous Ting Invitational Grand Final between him and TH, where he was trying to be innovative in this matchup. What's he going to do against Chaemiko? Does he feel like he has to do something special against him, or does he feel so far superior that just normal, straight-up play without much inspiration should bring him the victory easily?
1-2-0. The natty statistics for him: 70% versus Night Elf, 69 versus Human, 68 versus Undead, 74 as you see here, one of his weakest matchups versus Orc. Our statistics are a little different from his pro games and not only his natty's ranks. So his matchup versus Night Elf is 79%, that is the strongest in the world. Versus Human is only 54 according to our statistics, and versus Orc 60 and 66 respectively in Undead Mirror. Chaemiko, on paper, not on his level yet. And without experience, offline. 1-0 has been at China versus Korea, he has been at WCA, he has been at GCS. Wow, his ladder stats are insane as it seems. 88% versus Night Elf. I cannot believe the 83% versus Human.
That surprises
must
me.
be a mistake. 70% versus Undead and 72% versus Orc. Maybe it's a little bit flawed. His biggest success is standing here. He was in a team competition before, I think it was Nostalgia Battlefield, but apart from that, in solo competition, never really stood a big chance. He was third place in the February qualifier, and yeah, that's about it. But as we said, rising shape, kind of a rising star. Fourth place in Seer Cup earlier this year. This was kind of like his breakout performance.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see here for him, how is the stage going to affect him? Not really the crowd, we don't have a crowd yet, that's going to be for the weekend. Would be quite the accomplishment should he make it all the way through to the weekend. But Chaemiko, I always feel like an early game player because of his potential, because his small army control, I would dare to say, is among the best of the world, like among the top 5 best of the world.
Yeah.
His blocks and surrounds with small armies is absolutely ridiculous. And 1-0, he has lost quite a few fiends in the past against the likes of Infi. And normally, as an undead in this matchup, you cannot afford too many losses. Acolytes killed, ghouls killed, well, ghouls might be okay, but statues, fiends, if you lose those, you cannot pressure the human, and that is what this matchup is all about. Human will expand, undead has to kill the expo, otherwise the game will be lost.
Yes, and that is why Chaemiko vetoes Ancient Isles. It's so hard to get an expansion up there, and that is exactly why 1-0 is vetoing Echo Isles, because it's very easy to get an expansion out there. After the 2 bans, we get a random map, and that is once again Terranas Stand LV. It was the first map in the first series of today as well. So, the new version of Terranas Stand in this very matchup, what do you think about it?
That's a good question, what I wanted to get into next as well. Terranas Stand used to be extremely good for human. The new one, I'm not so sure. You get the Merc Camp access right away very easily. That is extremely good for human. You get level 2 immediately, you get 2 items, and you get Merc support. And with that, you should be able to go into the natural pretty quickly as well. We keep on mentioning this over and over. Terranas, the item drops. Maybe someone should look into those. If Chaemiko gets rewarded with big ones, strong ones early on, he could get off to a great start here on our first map.
One of the best players in the world, one of the best undeads this game has ever seen, the only back-to-back GCS champion and still the best GCS competitor ever, is facing a newcomer, a debutant, one might say. In the bottom right, we have 1-2-0. In the upper left, we have Chaemiko. Best of 3, we start on Terranas Stand. Will we see an upset after Hunter was not able to win a map? Everybody expects Infi and 1-2-0 to leave these groups as the winners. The question is just who comes out on top. Chaemiko and Hunter seemingly without chances, but Chaemiko is a pretty decent tank player as well. In this matchup, absolutely possible that we see this solution.
Yeah, would not surprise me if you get off to a good start. If the undead can't pressure you too hard, too early, then those might start rolling across the map. And perhaps even some Zeppelin drops. Saw that already today. So, Archmage first must be the hero choice here. In the past, we used to see MK first as well.
There we go.
He's back.
Indeed. Chaemiko's year so far, as we said, 4th place in Seer Cup, was pretty good. In the New Year's Cup, which was a 4-team tournament, his team ended up 3rd, was crushed by Lin's team. In AWL, he ended up in the round of 16, wasn't too good. In Automat's Cup, also not leaving the group stage, but Color Cup, he made it to the playoffs actually. And the GCS qualifiers were nice, almost all the time making it to the playoffs there, despite fierce competition. For 1-2-0 on the other side, he Yeah, didn't play too much. We haven't seen him too often. New Year's Cup, he was a second place in Team TH. Doyu Super League was his best result so far afterwards. Second place, only losing to Lin. AWL, he was defeated once more by Moon, and in Automats Cup, it was TH that eliminated him from the lower bracket semifinal. He only played 2 of the GCS races, March and April, winning the later one, and therefore qualifying. So, we go into this map, Mercenary Camp first with Clap first, actually. Very interesting choice. We usually see the skill build of Bolt, Clap, Clap. Now it's Clap, Bolt, Clap.
Yeah. The clap, of course, one of the many skills that has been changed with the new patch 1.29, received a significant buff. Level 1, it's still, alright, better than before, but level 2, the range is so huge now. Very powerful, especially if you should face ghouls, which is kind of the meta, I would say, against an MK expanding player. Like 4 to 5 ghouls pressure can be very, very powerful, and if you have clap against that, you're gonna have a good answer. Scroll of the Beast for him.
I love how the presence of the DK is just
look at the 40 block.
delaying this. So well done. Picture perfect explanation of why we praised Chaemiko that high. Blocks the DK, can't get a coil out, gets the creep in the end. So important for the Mountain King to get that one.
Yeah, and as I said, normally the follow-up to this, when you see the MK early, is you delay fiends, but go for more ghouls. You're going to send them over and try to harass the creep camp being taken. Because, of course, there's no water elemental. The MK only has a limited amount of spells to use with having low mana pool. And normally going to be stuck on level 1/2 for quite a while. Is that what 120 tries to do here as well? Because if he doesn't do that, usually against fiends, the MK should be a very good answer.
Would love to know if it's Bolt or Bash. Still possible. Would be a super weird choice though for Chaemiko. He's not expanding yet. He prioritized the mercenaries to be a little more safe, I guess. Have a little more attack as well with the Berserker and having healing here and a little dispel against the skeletons. So far, there's nothing that 120 could do, and this is the surround that we were waiting for. He's trying to coil his way out. Can the Mountain King block somehow? No. He's forcing the town portal, and that gives Chaemiko so much time to creep up his natural now.
Yeah, militia duration, he used a little bit of that to get over to the DK, but should still easily be good enough. And the clap, is this why the humans do this nowadays? Because you can use it on 5 of these creeps, it's lots of damage towards them, and of course mitigated damage as well because of the slow. This is exactly what Infi was playing in the first game today against Hunter. Clap into that expansion, of course different matchup, but still same hero. He is level 3, he finds
Book of the Dead. Oh, hell yeah. This is going to be a Mountain King in the Undead base. This is a lot of skeletons in the Undead base, which is not that uncommon, but it's humans summoning all of a sudden. One of the most imbalanced items in this game. It's either great or crap in the early stages when there's no dispel. It's an amazing item, and the undead dispel comes only with destroyers at tier 3, and there's only one way for Chaemiko now, and that is south.
120 does have a head warning. He did use the skeletons as he has been doing to great success in the past. You could like to call him the Necromancer for his excellent use of skeletons. So he knows that the Book of the Dead could be very punishing here. So he stays on tier 2, cannot afford to tech right now. And Chaemiko, he's threatening the attack, but doesn't want to commit too deep.
I think it's okay because there's the ghouls to defend. Oh, nice skeleton harass here. There's the ghouls to defend. There's a lot of fiends to defend. There's the DK. The Lich is about to pop out. So it's a lot of damage that he has against this Book of the Dead. So maybe retreat a little, get a staff onto something, and then during the tech 2 tier 3, use the Book of the Dead to kill the Acolytes. The presence of this Mountain King is already delaying the tier 3. So I think what Chaemiko is doing is quite smart and effective.
And normally, like the undead strategy revolves around, of course, killing the expo. That is the win condition. But normally you want to do damage before it's up as well. Yeah. And he didn't kill a single peasant so far. He didn't steal a single creep. He's level 1 DK.
And we have a level 3 Mountain King here. This is 120 in trouble already. And he uses it now to creep. Okay, if you can get a big creep camp with that, it's decent, I guess.
You can get numerous creep camps with this.
Yeah.
So I actually like this choice here. Because 120, he really isn't in a position to pressure. He may be able to defend. but he can't attack, so why not mass creep up this MK? A hero, of course, who scales amazingly with levels.
And he's quite safe now with the Belt of Giant Strength. He gets more strength, that is more HP. Tier 3 tech is on the way, and he's getting ready for the big destroyer push. Would love to see how far the tech is, but not seeing that here. Finally level 2, finally Unholy Aura, and finally a statue. So mass regen for the undead now. I love how Chaemiko is using that scout to see how far everything is. The army is looking decent as well with all the skeletons. He might have skipped a few footmen even to start a fast attack. He's up at 900 gold already. What a blessed start for the young Korean.
Yeah, and I must say, like, in retrospect, this early game, pretty uninspired by 1-0, right? He's playing against an MK, but he walks into a surround. You always have to expect that. There was no ghouls nearby to punish the expansion.
It's so big that he uses one Book of the Dead for both laboratories, both big permanent items, steals this one from 1-0 side of the map. Unfortunately, this is the Chinese version. Oh, okay. If he goes Knights, the Vamp Aura is of course fantastic. We get a Book of the Dead in return. And people say books are out of fashion.
Dad joke near returns. Zeppelin drops return as well. Infi did it earlier. Now Chaemiko is doing it. He's flying towards the undead main. The TP had been used before, but 1-0 is close by to respond to this. The tech should be finished. Yes, it is, so he can replace those footies, but still, this is very annoying. He will have to respond with his entire army.
We have a Stormbolt. One Acolyte is dead already. Does he have web? We have the Book of the Dead to defend this. He should use... Oh my god, this Zeppelin, if he dies, everything in it dies as well. Okay, he has to use the Town Portal. Evacuate, save the Berserker maybe. Yeah, TP out. We have the Orb of Corruption on the DK now, of course. He wants to bring it over to the Lich. The Berserker actually dies here. There was a little bit of mining time. That was the forced Book of the Dead, but it was also Berserker gone and the Town Portal gone. But here's the expansion. He can afford it.
Yeah, and really nice Sim City here. The Fiends can't really reach the towers. Maybe the Arcane, but not the Guard Towers. Some peasants are going to give their lives here, it seems, to the Blacksmith. But that is going to complete the wall off. And actually, he saves most of them. DK brings over the Orb. And the Fiends and the Lich and the DK, they're, you know, fairly strong right now. But they cannot crack this base.
No, I don't think so either. Would love to know how far the tech for the human is. Could be Breakers coming soon. Or is he teching directly to tier 3? That is quite a bit of damage that 1-0 is dealing now. But it might be a little too late. Chaemiko is at 1,000 gold. Not breaking upkeep yet. And the Destroyer push, is it that threatening here? We have 2 towers. He's not repairing. He can't repair because there's no workers. Mass mercenaries called for Chaemiko now, and he wants to break the siege.
Lots of mana on this MK. Stormbolt, where is it gonna fly? Does he just want to use the clap? Still no Stormbolt here. There's the Stormbolt. Lots of damage towards the Fiend's clap as well. Lots of damage everywhere. DK can heal against it though. Throw the Beast coming in, hitting barely anything. Good kiting here by 1-0 as always. But Fiends will keep on dying. This MK still has a lot of mana to use.
That was a fantastic call by 1-0, by the way, there, right after the clap to save his Fiend. The Destroyer is up, but the target is the Mountain King for now, and not the towers where it's supposed to be. And it's 1 Destroyer versus 2 towers, and the mana is running out.
Mass repair here. And once this DK is out of mana, the MK can just find one kill after the next. And we don't have statues on the ground anymore. But this is expensive for Chaemiko. He has to repair. He has to stop mining here every now and then. And Chaemiko, thinking about counterattacking instead of defending here, finds a Fiend as well on his way. Oh, and I love the Mud Golem against the statue. Of course, he can morph into a Destroyer, but then he won't have the regen.
He gets the mana, but he seems to think that, okay, this one is going to die, so let's suck it dry before. Mountain King is not going into the base for some additional Acolyte harass. He wants to support at home. His tech is so important right now. When will it finish? When will his army come? He's trying to catch the reinforcements. Seems like we have no bash. The Paladin second for some healing. And of course, Nuke. You can use it like a coil. And it's triple Griffin Aviary with a finished tier 2 tech.
Alright, if he just holds on long enough, no matter what he makes here should be good enough. Hawks or Griffins. Does 1-0 have what it takes here to break this base before MK coming in again? But he's low mana. Has one Stormbolt, I think. Here's the coil. But that Fiend will not be getting away.
Second last coil. Coil should be on cooldown though. Oh, he denied it with the DK. So well done. Mountain King not climbing up to 5 as of now. He's killing a lot of mercenaries. Can Chaemiko get the kills in return? The Destroyer is super duper safe from this Berserker. Nice micro from 1-0 so far. Statues are there to heal it as well. He's playing this pretty damn good and deals more damage towards the expansion.
But it is still mining. Chaemiko still has the economy advantage, and ideally when you're undead and you lay siege, you wanna, force repair, get resources out of your opponent, and the most important thing, not lose anything in that attack. And against the Archmage, that's of course pretty easy to do, but against MK with Stormbolt, not so easy. So he will crack open this base. But is it in time? Chaemiko with a lot of resources.
Dark Ranger now forced silence, so he can't use Holy Light and Stormbolt whenever he wants. And with the Blacksmith gone, he can't go Griffins at the moment. Has to rebuild that structure. Obsidian Statue falls. He's aiming for the Mercenary once again to get rid of that anti-air, because that is the last anti-air that Chaemiko has at the moment. Of course, with the triple Griffin Aviary, he can go into Hogs rather fast, but he only has 500 gold to work with at the moment.
Very tense situation. Can Chaemiko get the forces required to smash this? Ooh, this is a lot of Griffins.
He queued them before then, right? Is he actually going for a Knight as well? That was a lot of resources that he spent there. He's still in no upkeep? That's pretty sick, but won't last long because now the next Griffins are coming. I really hope for 1-0 that he has Web.
He must have it. He must. I mean, he saw it. He went into the main with the Destroyer. Doesn't quite know what exactly the units are going to be, but he must have Web. Does he have the kiting? Does he have the micro to win that battle? He's going to have...
Lich level 3, lots of kills here, but now the dragons are coming, or the griffins are coming. They can't attack the destroyers. Nice silence, so no spells can be used on the human side. Malicious being called as well, but the destroyers still have mana, and the Lich is so freaking strong on level 3. I don't know if he has mana afterwards. Nice clap to, against the fiends. The militia is almost wiped out though, and the kiting works well.
So far, but the DK is out of mana, and once there's no more mana, there's no more healing, and that's when the kills start racking up. Next Stormbolt is gonna be another kill here if he goes for the Fiend. MK is almost level 5, or does he want to go for the clap instead? No, Stormbolt will kill off this Fiend in the end, but actually, most of these Griffins have been killed, but more will be coming from the main.
Okay, how long can he stand in there? Next web coming in, more kills for 1-0. It looked really, really hard for him, but he makes his way out of this dire situation. Chaemiko's expansion is not really an expansion because he's not mining the entire time. Throws another coil, saves that Fiend as well, and the Lich and the Dark Ranger and the Destroyers are once again right where they should be in the peasant line. Last tower has fallen.
Oh my god, and I think he just barely did it. I think 1-0 just barely did it. That was so close. If he has like 2 more Griffins in that defense, that can all look very differently. But the Undead found the timing, no more mining here, and the MK still not level 5. By now he really needed to get there. Lich is level 4 himself here.
It's 1-0 playing with one hand.
No way.
He is, right? Or can we just not see it? I mean, this looks like... I don't know. Maybe it's just the camera angle or something. I think the monitor is before that, so...
So once again, the Griffins all been wet, more coils coming out, silence as well, and that is the last Griffin up in the air. That was the last chance, the last hope, as he drops down to 27 supply only. The Expo is still standing, but certainly not mining.
Nope. The skeletons take care of that. The Mountain King is level 5. Is that... Can a hero kill somehow? Can he somehow get a hero kill? There's constantly statues, there's constantly mana regen. Yeah, Chaemiko scratching his head. What can I do? At this point, not too many resources, no army, no hope.
It looks very hopeless indeed. When you lose your Expo like this, unless you still have a massive army behind it, normally the game is lost. He's moving across the map hoping... What is he hoping for? Apply some pressure, force 1-0 back home, get your Expo mining again, but this is not gonna happen. It has dropped way too low, and it is gonna fall.
One base versus one base. The Mountain King or the Paladin. Okay, the Mountain King is going into the base, trying to get some of the economy and some more experience for Avatar, maybe. Or 1-0 actually trying to deny, which doesn't really work. But yeah, there's destroyers, there's towers. He can get a few kills here, then staff out, but the damage has been done.
1-0 can keep on leveling here. He's not yet level 5. He can still get that next level up. Gonna take a while though, splitting the experience 3 ways. Greater Invul certainly also very nice. Paladin, he's lacking far behind on level 2 only. But even if he's level 5, man, being stuck on only one base is usually the death sentence at this stage of the game for the humans.
Was it a mistake to go for Griffins immediately and not for Hawks?
I thought so as well.
You can go for way more Hawks and quicker, of course, because you don't need tier 3. And then you have kind of a solution against the Destroyers. But let's see what he makes with the 3 Griffins that he has. The Mountain King is missing in this fight.
Gets the item at least. Almost level 3 for his Paladin here. He gets it. Holy Light becomes a lot stronger. But yeah, you can't do anything against these Destroyers.
In the meantime, DK and Lich crept up, I guess. Of course, there's Backpack on the Fiends to bring more Rods of Necromancy. Sees an illusion, doesn't use a coil or a Nova on it. That bait didn't work, but Chaemiko is buying some time to recover. Is at 800 gold, still banking, while 120 is paying taxes. And is expanding.
Yeah.
Lucifer brought this in. Oh, are the main gold mines expiring?
They're pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. Don't have the timer exactly, but we should be around 19-20 minutes maybe. And this is so scary, man, when you're facing this as the human player with a small army as well. This is high level undead heroes, backed up by Fiends, Destroyers, statues, and full mana. Full mana on everything. Pendant of Energy as well.
Yeah, 510 mana. And the Lich is looking good as well, with additional intelligence, additional damage, additional attack speed, and of course the Orb of Corruption. That dude is a massive damage dealer, especially against air. So now we get Hawks, finally. He's still not breaking upkeep, continuing to play this one base. With some more Mountain King harasses, is that a possibility somehow?
I think Chaemiko has to hope for, like, a slip in micro, you know, slip in concentration, I guess. Try to focus the DK, hope he drops half HP, then stun him, then kill him. And then kill everything after. Otherwise, I don't see how he can win this game, not at this point. Lich, by the way, quite the beast here. With Invul as well, and Destroyers being morphed. Is this the fight that Chaemiko has to take?
It's 62 supply versus 58. He's still producing. He has to wait a little longer. And if he needs to scout this expansion and tear it down, I mean, that will buy him some time. And then maybe when all the gold mines are expiring, it's so hard for the undead to expand, so he has to keep an eye on all the gold mines and shut it down.
Maybe if he uses the last bit of money he has for the Blood Mage, go banish first and hope you just pop the DK right away.
I don't know, man. There's silence and then the Coil Nova against the Blood Mage.
The DK will be standing further in front probably. Anyways, we may not have the time for the Blood Mage. Going for the DK right away.
Ooh, that Nova was sweet against all the Dragonhawks. Heal Scroll being used, but the anti-air is exploding. Thanks to the Lich, most likely. Another Nova hitting every single one of the Dragonhawks. And 5 Destroyers in the air seems to be too much.
Fiends are dead though, so no more web. Of course, Destroyers can't be dealt with, but they don't do too much damage against the Griffins at the same time. Undead Heroes dropping lower on mana, Lich is out of mana. DK still has a couple of coils to use. Nice dodge there with the Invul. With that, the Lich will survive. DK dropping low HP, maybe forced into a teleport here. Silence, nicely timed, can't use the Stormbolt right now. Invul on the Dark Ranger.
But there's a silence on Mountain King and on Paladin, so he can't use that. More mana for the Lich, but not a Nova yet. We have 44 supply versus 59. The Necromancer seems to be on top still, but he has to retreat while buying time for his Invul. Lich getting coiled. Is there follow-up damage? Is there a bash? No, but there's a coil to heal him up again. And close to 5, by the way.
Now it's a question about mana. Who runs out of healing first? Ooh, the DK though has a TP. Will he be forced to use it?
Oh, boy! Almost dying thanks to the Holy Light. There was a double nuke, but he spent a lot of mana there. Gold mines are dry. No more income for Chaemiko, while 120 has the expansion in the upper right.
And of course, this army for the human is really strong against heroes and basically against everything on the ground. But against Destroyers, you can do like basically nothing. Even flying into the towers. Okay, committing deep for this Griffin kill. He will lose a Destroyer to this. but I guess a trade worthwhile. The Hawks, will they win this air battle? Oh, nice micro there, saves the Hawk. And this looks to be a bit of an overextension here from the Undead.
Yeah, but he has a backup in the upper right, man. He's shopping as well. Of course, he needs invuls against this Holy Light and Stormbolt nuke. Chaemiko needs income. And all in is not enough. He can set up another expansion soonish, but he needs a little bit of long distance mining, which will cost more time. And 120 should be mining. Level 5 Lich, level 5 DK, those heroes are so strong.
Normally in these low/no income scenarios, Human is really good with the Brilliance Aura and the healing from the Priest for free, but that's not the case with an MK first and tier 3 stuff. Here we go again. Coil arrives too late, double silence once again, means that no spells can be cast for the time being. The Destroyer is still completely untouchable, and now the damage I don't think is there for hero kills anymore either. He's going for the Fiends one after the next, but if 120 loses those, he doesn't really care too much. MK out of mana, no more Stormbolts to be worried about. DK is gonna survive this, and the air army has all but disappeared. Even Deathpack coming in finally against from the Acolytes here, healing up the Death Knight, and this is it. GG! And Chaemiko, he came close, kind of. But in the end, the favorite 120 will prevail. He did break the Expo, and he didn't win the first game.
Terraner stand goes to the Undead, but Chaemiko is not without chances, as we've seen. Good early game, good expansion, good usage of the Book of the Dead, but then maybe a wrong decision when it came to tier 2 stuff. 120, is he, from this one game that we saw, is he that good? Is he one of the favorites? I thought there were cracks in him, in his shield.
Yeah, especially tactically. Like, his execution later on was still very good, how he pressured the expansion, but the opening I thought was so bad. Like, he saw the MK early, he doesn't respond with ghouls, he walks into a surround, he gives him that expansion for free. He still makes it work in the end because he's 120, but if he has an opening like that against Infi, I think that game's over.
I think so too, man. There were also some coils that were too late. I mean, some coils were amazing, like with 0.5 HP. Then other coils were missed. And when we saw the strongest 120, when he was the 2-time champion, he never missed those coils. Like, seriously, that happened for 1 year or so where he never missed a coil. It is not the unbeatable 120 yet, I think. Sometimes you need a bit of time to get into a tournament. Sometimes when you're against the Undead, I mean, the underdog, everything can happen. And so maybe it's just getting this momentum running for him. Don't want to judge too much from this one game we saw.
Yeah, it also looked to me a little bit like leisure from 120. He's like, well, it's Chaemiko, you know. I don't need to put too much into this.
Absolutely possible.
I just play my Ted Fiend opening. I go to tier 3. At some point I attack. With what exactly? Well, we're gonna see. And then I crack the base and I kill him.
Yeah, we see the difference in killed units here. It's 100 to 66. Once the destroyers were there, Chaemiko had no answer to them. Like, zero. There was no Archmage for anti-air. There was no Water Element for anti-air. There was no Orb or something.
Yeah.
No Rifleman. The Hawks were really, really late.
And you mentioned it in the game, waiting for the Griffins, going only for Griffins and having to hold on with like basically Mercs and nothing else for such a long time. Was that the perfect choice? I don't know. Would have liked to see an early Mud Golem. I think that unit is amazing against Undead because you will always have the Mud Golem before the first Destroyer. And the first Mud Golem is extremely powerful.
Yeah, we saw it against the statue, but there was just not enough follow-up damage because he split his army a little bit. And so he couldn't get them really. Small little mistakes, but against 120 that makes all the difference. And of course, it was a good timing for 120. Here we see the maps again. Echo Isles, Ancient Isles blocked. And of course, Terraner stand going to 120. Chaemiko picks Amazonia over Last Refuge, Turtle Rock, and Twisted. Amazonia here. Good win rate for humans.
Oh wow, so high.
To NetEase. I didn't expect that either. Only 2 gold mines here, two additional gold mines.
Yeah, and the natural is hard to creep here. That is especially problematic against Night Elf. Against Undead, not really, because when he harasses you, it's going to be with only DK and Skeletons, or maximum 1 Fiend, which is not too worrisome. If there's a ghoul opening, it can be very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
But it's 2018 and ghoul opening's not really a thing. Unless, again, MK. And that is the thing that I take away from this map pick. He's like, alright, MK first. Not gonna do that again.
No, not on Amazonia. We will see why, because the first creep spot is really hard. Chaemiko, according to our statistics, below 50% versus Undead. That is, in the pro scene,
Yeah.
really, really hard. 1-0, one of the best Undead versus Human matchups together with WFZ. Also slightly above 50%, but, you know, Infi and TH drag that number down.
It's kind of skewed. You always have to consider, like in China, when you always have to play against, as you say, Infi and TH. And also Romantic.
Yes, Romantic is really good versus Undead.
Yeah, really strong player who is not here at this tournament, but still, you did play him a lot in the past. Right, here we go. Map number 2. Can Chaemiko come back here? Can he equalize? Or is this going to turn out the way we're all expecting with a quick 2-0 for 1-2-0?
They met once before, actually only once before. There was a 2-0 win for 1-2-0. But yeah, the statistics for Chaemiko, for the guy in red, not the best. The favorite has a 1-0 lead. The favorite could follow Infi into the winner bracket final, which would mean that if he wins this map, then Chaemiko faces Hunter in the lower bracket semifinal. In the bottom left, we have the human, who will try to expand once again, as you said, most likely with an Archmage. The question is the creep route. Laboratory first? Expansion first? Sometimes we have seen this crazy shop first thing. A lot of stuff is possible. 1-0 has to scout where Chaemiko is going, but if 1-0 can do one thing, that's scouting.
Yeah, especially against Night Elf, the creep route is very interesting. There's pros and cons for the fast expansion with Immolation Harass as opposed to like Warden. But from the Undead side, the thing still remains until tier 2 at least. The threat that the pressure and the threat that the Undead can present on the map is very minimal. Unless he goes to a heavy commitment to the early game, which nowadays we really don't see anymore, because 1-0, as he did on map number 1, is going for the Ted Fiends again. That means fast hero, late Fiends, fast tech, however, to tier 2, to get to tier 3 as quickly as possible, because that's where the Undead really shines. The best Undead in the world can still be very effective before tier 3, but the potential is still very limited, even for them.
It's pretty crazy how strong 1-2-0 is at the moment against Human. He has a win streak versus Infi, he has a win streak versus TH, he has a win streak versus Chaemiko, and he has a win streak versus Hawk. So all 4 humans in this tournament lost their last encounters versus this guy.
Doesn't surprise me with how well he can play. It has been a question. You know, we touched on this earlier. 1-0, what shape is he going to show up in? Same for Infi. Infi looked pretty strong earlier. 1-0 not having had the most amazing last year, as the performance was so disappointing in the last GCS, as we also said, has something to make up for. Starting off with a creep route here that was invented by WFZ, I think, going for the trolls, which is going to be harassed by the Archmage, but... Oh, actually, he is in time here to pressure before the last little troll is going to be taken out. But the DK did get some experience. Is he going to pressure after this? Normally, when you pressure the human expansion, you wanted to try to steal some last hits with a coil, get level 2 with that. Very hard to do here, though, because 3 out of the 5 creeps at the expansion are magic immune, being golems.
And there's, at the moment, no expansion for Chaemiko. It's already very, very, very late. The DK is distracting so much. Chaemiko is hoping for a surround here to force that sound portal again to be able to creep this rock golem in peace. But 1-2-0 is not letting him. He gets a lot of right clicks, though. DK is not level 2, so getting that health back is basically impossible. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 militia now, and 2 water elementals.
Yeah.
DK is busy, so he can creep that. Can he get a steal with a skeleton? We have seen that from 1-2-0, but it doesn't seem like it. Nope, he takes care of that, eliminates it. The Fiend comes in.
Needs to be careful. If the Fiend gets too close, it will get ensnared. Oh, guess what? There's an ensnare. Could try for the surround, but seems like he's not too ambitious to try that. DK still not level 2, almost walks into a surround himself here. And that is the level 2 with that kill. Rock Golem, though, goes to the human. That's level 3, great item for him as well. 2 peasants have died, But he brought 7, so he still has 5 to construct the expansion.
He also has 5 footmen to defend and to surround the fiends. The big problem really is now the hurt DK, only 50%, so he has to play this a little more passive. He is teching behind that harass, and the expansion for Chaemiko will take some time. So the timing for 1-0 should be fine. Pulling the creeps even to be able to stay on that blight to get a little bit more regen, or not. Is he playing this more aggressive from now? Oh, there's no lumber mill. He can't even get towers up. Also no shop. At least power bill is working.
And he also has quite a bit of lumber, actually, despite not having a lumber mill. So may be able to go to tier 2 very quickly. That's the human dream. Having the space and freedom to go tier 2 without having to go for any towers. But of course, one arcane you want to get, and you really don't want to get it cancelled if you're the human. That gives you so much defense potential, but it is gonna get cancelled just barely. Mass repair, not good enough. Tower cancelled, expansion delayed even further, and now skeletons can run rampant here against all of these peasants.
And he didn't get the surround. He was trying to get the fiend with a few footmen.
Oh, look how he defends the peasant.
It's really good. It's kind of Infy style. Sees it that the fiend comes in, moves him south, so the skeleton can harass, can kill him now, but doesn't get it. Peasant stays alive. Is this Mr. Klaus?
I just want to say Saving Private Klaus right there.
Yes.
That was really, really well done. Small army control. I will keep on mentioning this a lot throughout this tournament, depending on how far Chaemiko gets. So, but the expo did come up. Did cost a couple of peasant lives, but I think the Arcane Tower will be coming up in the end. Tier 2 done, Slaughterhouse coming, along with statues soon. I like the Boots of Speed on the Archmage, makes it much easier to pressure hurt targets. And of those, we already have 2 Fiends injured. DK doesn't have too much mana anymore. Could also become very handy to put a lot more damage onto the statues, which are soon to be coming.
Lich's out, so Nova available. That's of course what you want against this footman. Is he having this critical mass footman that can win the fight and can... Ooh, Archmage. About to catch a Nova, but no. To be able to surround, to be able to save this expo. DK is there again, still no arcane. He needs... Okay, another corpse, but yeah, there are skeletons already. And he is doing the damage that he did not do on level 1, and now the Lich push comes.
And actually cancelling that shop is a big deal. Kiting from 1-0, second to none in the Warcraft scene. But this is Boots of Speed, buddy. I keep on telling you, it's a good item. Forces another coil, another fiend is hurt, and
Lich.
Pretty much because of the boots. Ooh, misses the surround. Normally always gets those.
Oh, nice movement by 1-0 though. Moving out of the surround against the trees. Moving back a little. There's going to be a second chance for Chaemiko most likely. Still not getting the kill on this fiend. There we go.
Big Nova hits all of the footies, but the fiend will still die. The other one gets healed up via the coil, so one fiend lost. Still manageable.
But this, it's like he's on the way to tier 3 now. This is usually the timing where the human walks into the undead base and is trying to do as much damage as possible towards the echo, whatever, and to force the undead back. But 1-0 kited him back, so there was a lot of time already that they spent on the way back, and Chaemiko is now so hurt that he can't do that anymore. So I think one of the biggest weapons of the human is already gone.
And if that shop had survived, he could have been healing up right now. But that cancels actually. Such a big deal. Surround on the Fiend. Not quite. Opens it up again. Archmage coming in here along with Militia to defend his expansion. He really needs this shop. And he's going to get it in a moment. Pay attention to how he uses two skeletons to constantly attack the Archmage. So he's dropping lower and lower, and Coil Nova will be a danger. For that, he doesn't have mana at the moment, but the statues will make it so that he'll have it soon.
Chaemiko calling Militia here. The duration is about to run out. He tried to surround before, but the DK was able to pop out. The towers, yeah, they are coming, but only slowly. Again, the skeleton harass. He finally has some regen on this Archmage, but still 4 fiends. Now with statues, he can stay there forever.
He certainly cancels the one tower in front. And it's only 2 guard towers behind. Not the most damage. The statue's doing a great job healing against it. Tier 3 take very quickly. Feels pretty damn confident before a second hero.
Yeah,
really?
This is really weird. And he could go to the main base maybe. Is this a lack of scouting for 1-0 because there's no tower up? I mean, the army is there now, I guess, but that's about it.
Oh, Panda second. That usually means split push. Go for the ziggurats, force the undead back with what's it called? Blizzard, oftentimes, which we may already see. There it is.
Infi move. He introduced that last GCS, and well, that was quite successful actually. So area of effect against area of effect. Again, trying to do some footman damage against the DK. The footmen are separated, and the panda as well from the archmage, who is in a safe haven there behind his towers.
The early acolyte is really nice from 1-2-0. Already healing up those statues. Level 2 for the Lich. DK is almost level 3, and that's when Kolnova becomes very dangerous.
It's pretty impressive how 1-0 only lost one fiend against this great micro player that is Chaemiko with a handful of footmen. Like, I'm pretty sure other players would have lost 2 or 3 more.
Are you referring to me here? Because that certainly would be the truth. The shop has been killed, not something you want to have happen, because you need the clarities to keep this blizzard, this rain from above going. The fiends are very hurt though, and here's another breath and another blizzard. Song of Ice and Fire indeed. Everything's dropping low. This call is too late. Next fiend dies right after. Very nice hold here. And more space for Chaemiko.
Yeah, and everything is hurt, as you said, like... Fiend. Oh, the panda though. Is there a coil for him? Yes, but he saves himself 4 now. Fiend shots in. He's blocking himself a little bit. Ah, the potion got transferred that he found from the rock golem. So his second hero is safe. And that gives 1-0 some time to regen up. The statues are really, really good at that. The panda is still level 1, so was it worth it to transfer the potion for that?
I feel like he could have let him die, but he has more breaths to use now as well. And tier 3 is done. Third hero Paladin will be coming out. And tanks possibly as well very soon.
Chaemiko has no shop, if I'm not mistaken. So no regen, no clarities, especially for the panda. That hurts. I mean, he has the Brilliant Aura, so that's quite fine. He's creeping so safe now.
Oh, he's really trying to press into this expansion. There should be like 4 guard towers and a Dreadlord third.
Okay, here we go. He has been buffed in patch 1.29, especially the sleep. Usually it's more effective against a Paladin or a Mountain King, I feel. Okay, for a counter against the Blizzard, it's kind of nice. And the Panda again so low. Carrion Swarm, okay, here we go, triple nuke, this time it works. That was the damage that was lacking before. And the Carrion Swarm actually brings the kill. First tower down, second tower down. You were questioning 1-0, I was questioning 1-0, but we shouldn't. We really shouldn't. Second tower falls, and now free reign for the destroyers.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be more sturdy, this base, but no. Absolutely not, and now it's Slaughter against the Peasants. He has more Carrion Swarm to use as well. More AoE. Once again, the Expo's been cracked, and this time he doesn't even have any good tier 3 units yet.
And again, the Korean is losing his expansion after not too long. And the tier 3 didn't pay off at all. He is playing tanks now. That might bite him some time. The Panda was only level 1, so that's not the biggest of deals. Creeping with Blizzard is super duper fast. I think the Destroyer stole one, right?
Yep. The Priest. And the Foot is also easy fodder. Paladin could heal him, but so far deciding not to. And tanks, yeah, there's gonna be 2, but 2 tanks are easily dealt with, especially if you have a Dreadlord. Even a safety Necropolis coming up. In fear of perhaps losing his main, I guess. And Chaemiko once again seems to be in an unwinnable situation. What are you supposed to do here? How are you supposed to win this game? I really can't tell you. 1-0 moving forward into the main. More peasants are on the agenda. 2 killed off right away. Shredder in trouble as well. Where's the 2 tanks? He did make him earlier. I think we're seeing him on the minimap here, moving across, moving towards the main base. But the Shredder opened up the way here, so it's easy to kill off these towers one by one. And that's level 2 for the Dreadlord. Okay, level 3 would be amazing against tanks, but he's far away from that. So who's gonna be forced to respawn back home first? 2 tanks, usually you can deal with those only with ghouls, so not even too much pressure on the Undead at the moment.
Yeah, it's seemingly easy to defend this while he's wreaking havoc in the main. There's no mining for Chaemiko at the moment. He's spending his last gold on tanks to get some time to breathe here. But the Carrion Swarm is, of course, affecting the tanks, so he was expecting that, I think. And the Blizzard, yeah, what can he do? Not too much, I guess.
So with the heroes here helping the tanks, the ghouls aren't good enough, of course, to deal with them. So 1-0 may have to TP home, but he has dealt so much goddamn damage across the map. And so far he's only lost the altar, which doesn't matter because he's not going to lose his heroes. He lost the shop, so he can make statues okay. But look at this! There's not a single peasant left. TP for TP trade, but this was a trade greatly in favor for the undead.
Yeah, totally agree. He has so much time. I mean, he lost the shop, so he can build more destroyers at the moment. But what does Chaemiko have? He has 28 supply. He has 1 peasant or so.
Yeah, like he has to reestablish his economy from scratch pretty much. Usually that's what the humans want to force the undead to be doing. Like drop the main, kill off the acolytes, maybe even kill off the Haunted Gold Mine, but he was under so much pressure it seemed this entire game. And once the expo falls, usually that means game. L4 DK. Dreadlord getting closer to 3. Gonna be a good answer then to the tanks, of which we only have very few. There's 2 more.
Alright.
He's trying to power creep up as much as possible here, Chaemiko. And if this was an MK second, I would say, well, maybe that's an answer. Maybe you can hope for a hero kill and then snowball from that hero kill. But it's a Panda second. He's good against statues, he's good against buildings. He's not really so good at fighting under tier 3.
That is absolutely correct. Due to the destroyers, of course. Okay. So, once again, Chaemiko is 1 base versus nothing. GG! 1-2-0 wins also the second match. So we have 2 clean sweeps in Group A. This boy will face Infi in the next round. And that's going to be a whole different match than the one we've seen before. Chaemiko, a little smile on his face. He had a good game 1, I think, in map 2. He was absolutely chanceless.
Yeah. That Blizzard defense from the players like Infi and TH, Infi especially, it seems crisper. He's in position more quickly. The base layout is better. There's more repair. He has more clarities. He's utilizing his Panda and footies better. Not everybody can be as good as Infi. I don't blame him. He put up a good fight, you know. He made it fairly close. As it stands, though, no upsets yet today. The favorites prevail. But our next game, the favorites will meet. And that's going to be a treat indeed. Who's going to have the upper hand there? It's going to be a bigger test. It's going to be the real test now for the 2 winners.
It's going to be a rematch of a previous GCS final. That means that 1-0 and Infi will meet in the winner bracket. Hunter will face Chaemiko in the lower bracket. We had a few good blocks. We had a few cool surrounds by Chaemiko, but I don't think it was the Chaemiko that we see online. So I'm really curious how he will play against Hunter and if he can show his real strength then, maybe pick up some momentum, and then just hope that Infi wins against 1-0, otherwise it's looking really grim for him. Here we have the recap again. This was, 2,000 gold more for Chaemiko, but the hero levels were good. The Dreadlord was a good choice there against the upcoming tanks. 16 minutes only. Quite short for Human Undead.
What's that 4th statistic, by the way?
Lumber.
Lumber, really? Oh, is that so important? Well, alright.
Will you question Neo TV?
Stands for quality is what I heard.
Yeah, so the underdogs not able to take a map yet. Will this change? Oh, maybe later today. We have 3 more games for you. Winner bracket final, lower bracket semifinal, lower bracket final. And then we have the 2 players that advance to the playoffs for Friday and Saturday. We're going to see a little highlight clip, then a little break. And then, oh boy, it's time for 1-2-0 and Infi.
Might be human versus undead again, but I'm pretty sure it's going to look very differently. The way Infi is able to utilize his Archmage, which I'm pretty sure is going to be coming, and especially his Footman, is a treat to watch, and 1-0 will have his work cut out for him, certainly. It started off so well for Chaemiko with his MK expansion coming up so easily, the DK struggling to get level 2 for such a long time. Even the Book of the Dead, which he had earlier and used to creep right here, the MK got high levels so quickly. But then, going for the Griffins, maybe not the right call. The harassment on the other side of the map was okay, but actually with his own Book of the Dead, 1-0 was able to defend that one.
Yeah, until there, everything was alright, but then came the push that we're seeing next, I guess. He was losing so much there, especially the loss of the Berserker helped. Yeah, then we had Griffins versus Destroyers, triple hero, and a nice kiting once again by 120. Always statues on the ground, or most of the time statues on the ground. Good coils, not perfect coils, but certainly good coils. And too few hogs, too late hogs, less anti-air, and then Destroyers just wreck human.
It was kind of scary though here for the undead Juggernaut for a while because that high level MK plus Paladin could kill a hero of yours at any point, and then if the DK dies, the rest will die very quickly after. But he kept the heroes alive, the most important thing, and yeah, the Destroyers could not get touched anymore. It looked good there. I don't know if we're gonna see it, but yeah, here he kills 2 fiends. I was like, all right, maybe this is gonna be the hold. 3 fiends actually died there. I only realized the 2 at that moment, but the Destroyer pushed too strong, too many. Not enough towers.
Yeah, not enough towers indeed. He tried to get back into the game with tanks, as humans oftentimes do, but at that point, 120 was just way too strong. The early harass was way too good. The expansion was way too late because of the distraction that 120 put in beforehand. We have a 10-minute break here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a few new supporters here as well. Oh, a lot of subs actually coming in. We have Muners for a 4-month resub, Tratnia with a new sub, FGTV Live, Siakara Doplappen with subs, Toby with a $5 donation. Hey Julian, thanks for the stream. Keep up the good work. Greetings from New Zealand. Thanks a lot. Ayo for 11 months, Pater Jakob with a new sub, and Yayud for 21 months. He says GCS hype type. Hopefully the stream stays stable. 9 minutes 20, then we're back. GCS Grand Final. It's time for Infi versus 120. See you in a bit.